If you're over 60 and experiencing stiffness when you wake up, weakness when climbing stairs, or joint discomfort that wasn't there 5 years ago, what I'm about to share could make a significant difference in your daily life. There's a tiny seed, smaller than your fingernail, that many of my patients have been ignoring for decades. But here's what shocked me as a geriatric medicine specialist. When incorporated properly into the diet, this simple addition has helped countless older adults regain strength, flexibility, and independence they thought was gone forever. The best part? It costs less than your morning coffee, and you probably walk past it at the grocery store every single week without giving it a second thought. I'm Dr. Susan Miller, and I've been practicing geriatric medicine for over 20 years. Throughout my career, I've worked with thousands of patients navigating the challenges of aging, particularly those struggling with muscle loss, joint deterioration, and reduced mobility. What I've learned is that small, consistent nutritional changes often produce remarkable results. And today, I want to share one of the most powerful yet underutilized tools I recommend to my patients. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend clicking that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss another health tip made especially for you. If you find this video helpful, please leave your questions and video suggestions in the comments below. I read every single one, and it helps me create more content to help more people just like you. Now, let me tell you about flaxseed. This tiny powerhouse has been cultivated for over 6,000 years, but most people over 60 have no idea how profoundly it can impact muscle preservation and joint health. As we age, our bodies face two major challenges: sarcopenia, which is the natural loss of muscle mass and strength, and the breakdown of cartilage in our joints, leading to stiffness and discomfort. What makes flaxseed so remarkable is its unique combination of nutrients that address both of these issues simultaneously. Let me share a story that perfectly illustrates this. About 18 months ago, I met Mrs. Helena Santos, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Porto Alegre. Helena had spent 40 years educating children, standing for hours in the classroom, always active and energetic. But when she came to my office, she was a different person. She walked slowly, wincing with each step, and told me that getting out of bed in the morning had become her most dreaded moment of the day. Her knees felt like rusty hinges, she said, and her arms had become so weak she struggled to lift her grandchildren. Helena was terrified she was losing her independence. What struck me most was when she said, with tears in her eyes, that she had stopped visiting her daughter because climbing the stairs to the apartment had become too painful and embarrassing. This vibrant woman who had touched hundreds of young lives was now isolating herself because of physical limitations. When I examined her, I found significant muscle wasting in her thighs and arms, and her joints showed signs of inflammation. Her diet, she admitted, consisted mainly of white bread, rice, and very little protein or healthy fats. She had heard about omega fatty acids but had no idea how to incorporate them into her meals. I started Helena on a comprehensive plan, but the cornerstone was adding just 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed to her daily routine. 6 months later, when she returned for a follow-up, I almost didn't recognize her. She walked into my office with confidence, stood from the chair without using the armrests, and told me she had just returned from a weekend at her daughter's house where she played on the floor with her grandchildren. She wasn't completely pain-free, but the transformation was undeniable. Helena told me the morning stiffness that used to last hours now disappeared within minutes of moving around. So what makes flaxseed so special? Let me break this down in a way that makes sense. Inside these tiny seeds, there are 3 key components that work together like a symphony for your aging body. First, there's alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Now, you've probably heard about omega-3s from fish oil, but not everyone tolerates fish oil well. And for vegetarians or those who simply don't eat fish regularly, flaxseed provides an excellent alternative. Here's what happens in your body. As we age, chronic low-grade inflammation becomes one of the primary drivers of muscle breakdown and joint deterioration. Think of inflammation as a slow-burning fire inside your tissues. The omega-3 fatty acids in flaxseed act like firefighters, helping to calm this inflammation. When inflammation decreases in your joints, you experience less stiffness, less pain, and better range of motion. In your muscles, reduced inflammation means your body can better utilize the protein you eat to maintain and even build muscle tissue, instead of constantly being in a state of breakdown. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Flaxseed is also one of the richest plant sources of lignans, which are compounds that have antioxidant properties. As we age, oxidative stress, which is basically cellular damage from free radicals, accelerates the aging process in our tissues. Lignans help protect your cells, including muscle and cartilage cells, from this damage. Think of it as adding a protective shield around your cells that helps them function better and last longer. The third component is fiber and protein. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed provide about 4 grams of fiber and 4 grams of protein. Now, that might not sound like much, but for older adults who often struggle to meet their protein requirements, every gram counts. Protein is absolutely essential for maintaining muscle mass, especially as we age. And the fiber? It helps with digestion, blood sugar control, and even helps you feel fuller, which can prevent unwanted weight gain that puts additional stress on your joints. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, type the number 1 in the comments to show me you're with me. This kind of engagement helps me understand what content resonates most with you. Let me tell you about another patient, Mr. Carlos Ribeiro, an 80-year-old retired construction worker from São Paulo. Carlos had spent his entire life working with his hands, building homes and commercial buildings throughout the city. He was immensely proud of his physical strength and capability, but when he came to see me, he was frustrated and depressed. He told me he couldn't even open a jar of pickles anymore, and his hands hurt constantly. His shoulders ached, his knees were swollen, and he had lost nearly 15 pounds of muscle mass in just 2 years. Carlos had tried various supplements that promised joint relief, spending hundreds of reais each month, but nothing seemed to work. He was skeptical when I suggested something as simple as flaxseed. He actually laughed and said, "Doctor, I need something powerful, not bird food." But I explained to him that sometimes the most powerful solutions are the simplest ones, backed by our body's actual nutritional needs rather than marketing promises. I convinced Carlos to try it for 3 months. He agreed, mostly because he trusted me and had run out of other options. I recommended he add ground flaxseed to his morning oatmeal and blend it into a smoothie in the afternoon. The key was consistency and proper preparation, which I'll explain shortly. 3 months later, Carlos returned, and while he tried to maintain his skeptical demeanor, I could see the change. His handshake was firmer. He moved more easily. When I asked directly, he admitted the swelling in his knees had reduced noticeably, and he had regained some of the strength in his grip. He could open jars again, and more importantly, he had started doing small woodworking projects in his garage, something he hadn't been able to do in years. What made the difference for Carlos? It was the combination of reducing inflammation and providing his body with the building blocks it needed. See, as a construction worker, Carlos understood that you can't build a strong structure without the right materials. The same applies to our bodies. We can't maintain strong muscles and healthy joints without providing the right nutrients. And for many older adults, omega-3 fatty acids and quality protein are severely lacking. Now, before you rush to the store, there are some crucial things you need to know about how to use flaxseed properly. This is where many people make mistakes that prevent them from getting the full benefits. First, and most important, you must use ground flaxseed, not whole flaxseed. Here's why. The outer shell of the flaxseed is incredibly tough. If you swallow whole flax seeds, they will pass through your digestive system completely intact, and you'll absorb virtually none of the beneficial nutrients. It's like trying to eat a walnut without cracking the shell first. You can buy pre-ground flaxseed, often called flax meal, or you can buy whole seeds and grind them yourself in a coffee grinder or food processor. Second crucial point: storage. Once flaxseed is ground, the omega-3 fatty acids are exposed to air and can oxidize, which means they can go rancid and lose their beneficial properties. Always store ground flaxseed in an airtight container in your refrigerator or freezer. It will stay fresh for several months this way. If it starts to smell bitter or off, it's time to replace it. Third, how much should you consume? Based on research and my clinical experience, I typically recommend 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed daily for most adults over 60. Start with 1 tablespoon for the first week to let your digestive system adjust, especially if you're not used to consuming much fiber. Then increase to 2 tablespoons if tolerated well. Now, how do you actually incorporate this into your daily routine? This is where creativity and personal preference come into play. The easiest method is adding it to foods you already eat. Mix it into your morning yogurt or oatmeal. Blend it into smoothies. You won't even taste it. Sprinkle it over salads. Mix it into soup, although add it at the end after cooking to preserve the omega-3s. Some of my patients bake it into breads or muffins. Others mix it into their scrambled eggs. The key is finding a method that works for you so that it becomes a natural, effortless part of your daily routine rather than a chore. But wait, here's something many healthcare providers don't discuss enough: hydration. When you increase your fiber intake, which you're doing when you add flaxseed to your diet, you must also increase your water consumption. Fiber absorbs water in your digestive tract, and without adequate hydration, it can actually cause constipation instead of helping with digestion. Aim for at least 8 glasses of water daily, more if you're active or live in a hot climate. Let me share one more story that demonstrates the importance of patience and consistency. Mrs. Beatriz Lima, a 67-year-old office administrator from Curitiba, came to me with severe knee pain that made her daily commute almost unbearable. Beatriz took the bus to work, which meant standing and sitting repeatedly, climbing stairs, and walking several blocks each day. She was considering early retirement because the pain had become so limiting. She also noticed her arms looked thinner, and she felt generally weaker than she had just a few years before. I started Beatrice on flaxseed, along with some gentle strengthening exercises. After 2 weeks, she called my office, frustrated, saying nothing had changed. This is so important to understand. Nutritional interventions are not like medications that work immediately. They're about gradually providing your body with the tools it needs to repair and maintain itself. I encouraged Beatrice to continue for at least 8 weeks before making any judgments. By week 6, Beatrice noticed she was getting through her commute with less pain. By week 10, she realized she was climbing stairs without holding the railing for support. By month 4, she told me she felt stronger and more energetic than she had in years. She didn't retire early. In fact, she took on additional responsibilities at work because she had the physical stamina to handle them. Beatrice's story taught me once again that we must set realistic expectations. Flaxseed is powerful, but it's not magic. It works gradually, and it works best as part of an overall healthy lifestyle. Now, are there any people who should be cautious with flaxseed? Yes, and this is important. If you're taking blood-thinning medications like warfarin, you should consult with your doctor before adding significant amounts of flaxseed to your diet, because omega-3 fatty acids can have mild blood-thinning effects. If you have a hormone-sensitive condition, discuss it with your healthcare provider, as the lignans in flaxseed have weak estrogen-like effects. And if you have any digestive disorders, particularly inflammatory bowel disease, start very slowly and monitor how your body responds. Also, and this is crucial, flaxseed should never replace medications prescribed by your doctor or substitute for a comprehensive medical evaluation. If you're experiencing muscle weakness or joint pain, you should absolutely see a healthcare provider to rule out underlying conditions that require specific treatment. Flaxseed is a supportive nutritional tool, not a cure-all. But if this seed is so powerful, why don't more people know about it? The answer is unfortunately simple. There's no massive marketing budget behind flaxseed. It's not patented, it's not expensive, and therefore it's not heavily promoted. But in my practice, I've seen time and time again how simple, evidence-based nutritional strategies can transform lives, especially for older adults who have been told that decline is inevitable. Decline may be natural, but its rate and severity are often within our control. Let me share something I've observed consistently in my 2 decades of practice. Patients who take an active role in their health through nutrition and lifestyle modifications not only feel better physically, but also experience improvements in mood, confidence, and overall quality of life. When Helena could play with her grandchildren again, when Carlos could work on his woodworking projects, when Beatrice could handle her commute without pain, they weren't just experiencing physical improvements. They were reclaiming parts of their identity and independence that they thought were lost forever. This is what motivates me every single day as a physician. Too often in modern medicine, we reach for prescriptions without first optimizing the foundation: nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management. Don't misunderstand me. Medications have their place and are often necessary. But for muscle and joint health in older adults, supporting the body's natural processes with proper nutrition can be remarkably effective, often reducing the need for medications or allowing them to work better. Now let's talk about realistic expectations, because I want you to succeed with this. If you start incorporating ground flaxseed into your daily routine, what should you expect? In the first 2 weeks, you might notice improved digestion and more regular bowel movements due to the fiber content. This is good. Some people also notice they feel slightly fuller after meals, which can help with weight management. Between weeks 4 and 8, you might start noticing subtle improvements in how your joints feel, particularly in the morning. That initial stiffness that used to take forever to work through might start improving more quickly. Your recovery after physical activity might improve as well. Between weeks 8 and 12, you should notice more obvious changes: better strength, less joint discomfort, improved mobility. These changes continue to accumulate over months, not days. Remember Carlos, the retired construction worker? He didn't notice significant changes until week 10, but by month 6, he was doing things he hadn't done in years. This timeline is typical. Your body needs time to reduce inflammation, repair tissues, and rebuild strength. We live in a world of instant gratification, but your body works on its own timeline, and we must respect that. Let me address one more common concern: cost. One of the beautiful things about flaxseed is how affordable it is. A bag of ground flaxseed that will last you a month typically costs less than 10 or 15 reais in most stores. Compare that to many joint supplements that can cost 10 times that amount. And unlike isolated supplements, flaxseed provides a whole package of nutrients working together as nature intended. It's whole food nutrition, which research consistently shows is superior to isolated supplements in most cases. Where should you buy flaxseed? Most grocery stores carry it, usually in the baking aisle or the health food section. Health food stores definitely carry it, often in bulk bins where you can buy exactly the amount you need. Some stores carry it refrigerated, which is ideal. You can also find it online. Just make sure you're buying from a reputable source and checking the expiration date. Here's a simple way to start tomorrow morning. Take 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed and mix it into your breakfast. If you eat yogurt, stir it in. If you drink a smoothie, blend it in. If you eat oatmeal or cereal, sprinkle it on top. That's it. One simple action. Then do it again the next day, and the next. Within a week, it will become automatic. Within a month, you won't even think about it. And within 3 to 4 months, you'll likely notice the benefits I've been describing. But here's what I want you to remember most. Aging doesn't mean automatically accepting weakness, pain, and loss of independence. Yes, our bodies change with time. Yes, we need to adjust our expectations. But we also have more control than we often realize. Simple, consistent actions like adding nutrient-dense foods to our diet, staying physically active within our abilities, maintaining social connections, and taking care of our mental health can dramatically influence how we experience our later years. I think about my patients like Helena, Carlos, and Beatrice often. They inspire me because they show what's possible when we combine evidence-based medical guidance with personal commitment. They didn't look for miracle cures or quick fixes. They made simple, sustainable changes and stuck with them. And their lives improved measurably. If you're over 60 and you've been experiencing muscle weakness, joint stiffness, or declining mobility, I encourage you to discuss adding ground flaxseed to your diet with your healthcare provider, especially if you have any medical conditions or take medications. For most people, it's a safe, affordable, and effective way to support muscle and joint health naturally. Beyond flaxseed, consider the bigger picture of healthy aging. Are you moving your body regularly, even if it's just walking around your home? Are you consuming enough protein throughout the day? Are you staying socially connected? Are you managing stress? Are you getting adequate sleep? All of these factors work together to determine how well you age. Flaxseed is one tool, a powerful one, but it works best as part of a comprehensive approach to health. In closing, I want to leave you with this thought. Every day, you have the opportunity to make choices that either support your health or undermine it. These choices don't have to be dramatic or difficult. Something as simple as adding 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed to your breakfast can set off a cascade of positive effects in your body. Small actions, repeated consistently over time, create remarkable transformations. Your muscles and joints have served you faithfully for 6, 7, 8 decades or more. They've carried you through life's challenges and joys. They deserve support and care. You deserve to move through your later years with as much strength, flexibility, and independence as possible. And while I can't promise that flaxseed will solve every problem, I can tell you from years of clinical experience that it can make a meaningful difference for many people. So my challenge to you is this: try it. Give it a genuine 3-month trial. Mark it on your calendar. Take note of how you feel today, how your joints feel, how strong you feel. Then reassess in 3 months. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you are, please come back and leave a comment sharing your experience. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step toward better health. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit. Drop your questions and experiences in the comments below. I genuinely read them and often create new content based on your suggestions. And remember, never make significant changes to your diet or health routine without consulting with your own healthcare provider who knows your specific medical history. Take care of yourself, stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll discuss another crucial aspect of healthy aging that too many people overlook. Character count. Approximately 20,500 including spaces.